Okay, it's all yours.
This is College of the Dead. It is a strategy, turn-based strategy, role-playing game with a survival horror genre going on, focusing on zombie infestation. And it is inhumanly fun. This is the team that worked on it.
Nine.
Collins. Dustin. Colin. And Brennan. And essentially what we made is a game which takes a lot of people's favorite aspects from like Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem and things like that, where you have this intense strategy going on, but instead of armies on armies and the world at stake, so to speak, we have a story of a college-age man who's the world is just falling down around him. So you have the story of survival of this one person with the twist of strategy, which a lot of zombie games or other horror games don't ever take. It's usually shoot 'em up or other rushing through games, but this one is, it has the same intense feel to it, the same feeling of survival, but with the story and concepts which a lot of zombie games like to put forward. So over to AI aspects.
So the AI in a game is basically done through the enemies. The enemies attack you on their turn, and basically right now we have really aggressive AI. It's just zombies that are just going to come straight at you, and it's using A-star pathfinding. So there's a few different kinds of enemies, and we're going to alter them more by the time we have the demo. But for now, they're all aggressive, as you've seen in the demo today, and they just run at you. So that's the current AI we have, and we'll see that later. The settings. We have a few different settings, and basically the story is going to go a little bit of the story, and it's going to give you a battle. Once you complete that battle, the story is going to progress, and you're going to go to a different setting. You get to beat that battle to progress the story, and you're just going to progress through all the levels. So right now we have 3 different levels to show you today. The first one is the schoolyard with a basketball court. The second one's out front of the school near the road. There's obstacles with cars and fences. And the third one's just a general map. So as we said before, the story is a horror story. It's told through cutscenes, and we'll be able to show you a little bit of that.
Pretty much the battles, if you've ever played Final Fantasy Tactics or Advanced Wars or any game of the genre like Fire Emblem, you have your players that they take their turn, they perform their actions, and then the enemies perform their actions. So it's going to be like, I hit you, you hit me, kind of going back and forth. But it's not as simple because you actually have to position yourself properly. You can't walk on water per se, or you can't climb up fences. You have to maneuver yourself so you don't die. And based on the location that you are, the terrain affects how much damage you'll do. Based on how far you are, depending on the class that you are, you'll do more or less damage. Melee classes will tend to do more damage than ranged, just to give them that advantage. So we originally planned to use Unity, but then we quickly came to the conclusion that making a 2D game in Unity was a lot more work than we thought it would be. So we switched over to GameMaker, which is already a standard 2D platform that we could easily implement most of our ideas relatively quickly and focus on the more important things like the combat and other aspects that we actually wanted to focus on instead of all of us trying to learn, oh, how do we do 2D in 3D? So here's the demo for it. Nice creepy music. So pretty much the story sequences are going to be sort of like this. We're going to try to add more character interactions. I'll let you guys read it. trainers, you have around up here, we're going to kind of add a bit more things here. So these are your characters, these are the enemies here. You hover over the enemies on the possibly right here. You can see their movement range, which is in the blue, and their projected attack range based on the movement range in the red. So going over these, some of them have different movement ranges and different attack ranges. So there, you move around, currently this map, the only place where you won't be able to pass over here, these are impassable.
So there's a few things that we're working on, I guess, over the next few days to implement before the demo. We're hoping to diversify the zombies rules, some more sprite work maybe, and maybe some animations on the attacks. I guess there anything else we're going to do.
Pretty much just implement more discrete character classes. Right now we just have them all working how we wanted to, just for testing purposes. Now that we have the foundation, we can just expand upon there. And like I said, adding more zombie models, adding the flying zombies that'll hate you and pretty much just kill you.
And probably one more map so we can finish the storyline and let you finish the game.
Any questions? Yep.
I guess, what sort of version control did you guys use?
Pretty much we have a Google Doc that you have to check before you start modifying it. If someone's working on it, don't touch it.
It was basically check out because GameMaker uses the binary finals, but we didn't. We used GitHub just to pass it. But yeah, it was always just one person working at a time. Although we could do graphic work and then commit that outside of the binary file and pull it in later. So that was all that we have to be working. So it was a little struggle to get a team work, I guess. But
it seems like GameMaker is kind of popular. I was just kind of curious about that.
It's pretty nice. It's a bit confusing in some aspects. Like you can't necessarily say, I want to draw something at this point. You have like a draw event, which you have to call from somewhere else, and it can only happen once. So it's kind of hard to get through that. So like the conversations, like the title sequence and other things, we have to create a room for every single like conversation. It gets kind of tedious. But other than that, like the object placement is pretty easy. We can Commons been working on making backgrounds that are 64 by 64, and we can just make a 64 by 64 grid where we can snap on objects.
it simplifies a lot of things, but it also has a lot of drawbacks. Like it doesn't have an undo button.
There's no undo button.
Your scripts are tied to the objects. You can't have like a list of your scripts, so it gets sometimes like you get an error and you don't know where it's coming from or what script you have to go to fix it. And the version control and stuff. There's a lot they can expand on, I guess, but we didn't have the professional grid version, so if we wouldn't pay $10, maybe it would have been better. I don't know.
I guess attaching the scripts to objects is pretty convenient.
It's what?
Attaching like the scripts to the objects you
Yeah.
can find anywhere.
It also is pretty cool that you can just, if you're looking for implementation of a certain variable or style of code. You can just search through every script you have, and it'll just pull up each script that it comes up in with the line where it's happening. So if you want to match two different object controllers, like for an enemy and a player, you want them to have the same variable. You just search for it, and they'll both pop up, and it's pretty intuitive in that way. Yeah, but a lot of stuff, like they said, the version control is terrible.
I mean, it's also like case sensitive, so if you put a capital letter at the beginning of your thing, you're not going to find any scripts. Like Unity, I guess you attach your scripts, but you still have a list of scripts, and it's all organized, and that's what I would like in GameMaker. I don't know if we have, it's just your scripts are attached to objects, and you have to go inside the objects to edit them and stuff like that. So it's a little unorganized.
So any others?
What was the deal with you guys' artwork? How much was it?
Where background or made by Colin?
I guess a lot of the Lost Garden blog gives you like the little blocks, and you can use the blocks to kind of make stuff. And I had like the basketball court, kind of like the road, and I used the blocks and kind of changed them. So a lot of them, like the grass was pre-made, but then the road wasn't, and you just use the blocks to make your maps and everything. And the sprites we just took off sprite websites.
You're not going to make.
So some originals.
Yeah.
Taken.
The final sprite of the characters hopefully will be a lot more cleaned up and more matching. So those will be a bit more original.
Any others? Okay, I want to thank the